Hello and welcome to Chesapeake Weekly Home Edition. Well, the Chesapeake Health Department's vaccination efforts continue this week, and there's a new statewide pre-registration system available, as well as a statewide call center. So you can now pre-register at vaccinate.virginia.gov. If you've already pre-registered using the Chesapeake online contact tool, you do not have to sign up again. All of that information was transferred over to the state system. Now you can confirm your place in line by clicking check the list at vaccinate.virginia.gov. And please remember that when you receive an email link to make your vaccine appointment, that link is for you only. Please do not share or post that link anywhere. Appointments made using a shared link will not be honored. This process is in place to make sure that our most vulnerable community members are reached first, especially our seniors. Now, if you need help with anything vaccine related, you can call the Virginia COVID Information Center at 1-877-VAX-IN-VA. That's 877-829-4682. They're open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. People age 75 or older will be placed in an express lane to speak to a live agent. And the local Chesapeake COVID Vaccine Information Call Center will stay open to help you out in any way that you need. You can call them at 757-382-1788, and they are open from 9 to 5 whenever the city is open. This is some footage from our local call center here. It's being managed by city employees who are taking time away from their regular duties in hopes of making sure all of our community members get the information they need. Thank you so much to all of my fellow coworkers, city employees who are doing great work to make sure our community stays informed. Well, there's a virtual town hall coming up on the Portsmouth-Chesapeake Joint Land Use Study. The town hall is on March 2nd at noon. It's going to be virtual, and it's hosted by the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission. After more than a year of extensive study on critical issues such as roadway flooding, transit, parking, land use, and utilities, the Chesapeake Portsmouth Joint Land Use Study is poised to define actions that can address these issues and benefit both Navy facilities as well as neighborhoods and businesses in the area. Join the virtual event to learn more and to comment on the findings to date, in addition to the strategies being considered before the draft plan is prepared. You can register for that virtual Zoom online. There's also a public meeting coming up for a Dominion Energy offshore wind project. So on March 2nd and 4th, Dominion Energy will host a virtual project meeting to share information on how the community can provide input on this exciting project. So to share some more with you, here's a video from Dominion Energy.
27 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, secured 80 feet below the water's surface and rising 600 feet into the air, stands the future of energy in America. The two test turbines there are now producing approximately 12 megawatts of electricity. But they're also demonstrating to the world that wind energy works well in the Atlantic. Well enough to help greenlight the construction of the additional 188 turbines that will fulfill this project's scope. It's called the Coastal Virginia Offshore Wind Project. These new turbines will be 200 feet taller and collectively generate 220 times more power than the pilot project, enough to heat and light up to 660,000 homes at peak and keep Virginia on course to becoming carbon-free by 2045. And for Hampton Roads, having the first wind farm in federal waters will position both the region and the Commonwealth of Virginia internationally as leaders in science, technology, and the use of clean and renewable energy. These turbines will even help to position Hampton Roads as a hub for a robust wind energy supply chain that exists nowhere else in America today. In fact, a vessel is now being built that will haul equipment from the shore to the construction site. Home ported in Hampton Roads, the vessel will transport wind turbines from the terminal and install them at sea. The vessel will also be able to serve other wind farms that may follow along the eastern seaboard. This emerging industry will require the talents of dedicated men and women from a broad array of fields to fashion and maintain the blades and other equipment necessary for the Coastal Virginia Offshore Wind Project, also known as CVOW. CVOW will bring Hampton Roads into the national spotlight when it comes to clean and renewable energy, boosting the local economy and showing our young people that the region has a strong future, one that's well worth growing in or returning to for meaningful employment. Once the power comes ashore at State Military Reservation, it will be transmitted across Virginia Beach to Dominion Energy's Fentress substation in Chesapeake. Dominion Energy will review and put forward a number of routing options for consideration. To accomplish this, we will collaborate with localities, residents, and other stakeholders to minimize disruption and maximize the use of existing rights-of-way. That process begins now, principally in Virginia Beach and in Chesapeake, two dynamic cities in a region well positioned to take advantage of the power of the wind as it moves over our seas. And Dominion Energy stands ready to be the reliable partner needed to help grow the future prosperity of Hampton Roads. Because the Coastal Virginia Offshore Wind Project is an important part of that future.
You can learn more about that project at coastalvawind.com. And there's a really exciting project coming here to Chesapeake thanks to the Chesapeake Humane Society. So you may know that their location is based out of a building on Battlefield Boulevard, just north of the Great Bridge, but now they're expanding. They've actually been gifted a building from what used to be Los Gaviotas Pet Hotel. So some of you may be familiar with that. That building has been gifted to the Chesapeake Humane Society, and this is going to allow them to expand their services considerably. Really exciting stuff coming up. Here's the Chesapeake Humane Society Executive Director, Lacey Shirey, with more.
So our Battlefield location will be dedicated to our veterinary clinic services, serving both the public and our shelter partners in the region. And this building will be our dedicated sheltering facility. And so we will have two separate locations. And this facility will allow us to serve more dogs each year, which is really exciting for us. We'll have kennels on site. We'll have a lot more volunteer opportunities that will open up once we occupy this building. And then we have an exciting new program that we're going to be debuting with this location that we're calling crisis-based boarding, where we can assist those going through hardship with temporary boarding for their dogs and cats so that they're able to keep them in the home, and we'll provide boarding at either no cost or low cost. And we would be serving victims of that are trying to escape domestic abuse, fire victims, or families, individuals that are faced with unexpected medical procedures where they need just some temporary care for their pets.
Now, I got to catch up with Lacey in a recent episode of Peak Life, and she also brought along a little friend, Kiki, the cat, who is available for adoption. So Lacey and I chatted all about this exciting new opportunity for the Humane Society. Make sure you check out that episode of Peak Life at youtube.com/Chesapeake Television. Now, if you're anything like me, you are chomping at the bit to get out in the yard, getting it ready for spring. I did some of that this weekend thanks to that sunshine that we finally saw. A lot of it involves cleaning up leaves, sticks, all of that debris that just kind of accumulates over the cold winter months. But if you're hoping to burn that yard debris, you need to be aware that the 4 p.m. burn ban is now in effect.
So it's a code, state code, enforceable by law that requires a certain time of the year that you only burn between certain hours of the day. And the reason for that is because they have identified that was a period of time where it was notoriously dry, that winds were a factor, and the main reason for that is just to eliminate a controlled burn that happens outside from becoming something uncontrolled. So having these regulations in place allows us to limit and hopefully ideally eliminate any forest fires that may happen, any property from being damaged.
The 4 p.m. burn law is in effect from February 15th through April 30th each year. So during that time, there is no open air burning before 4 p.m. if your fire is within 300 feet of the woods or dry grass, which can carry the fire to the woods. So for more information on the rules, including the penalties for not complying, check the fire department's website pages at cityofchesapeake.net. Well, the Public Works Department has yet another award to boast. They were recently recognized by Drive Safe Hampton Roads with the 2020 John T. Hanna Award for Safety Excellence in the Messaging and Media category for these helpful and often humorous roadside signs.
We won the award for our innovative use of roadside, what's called VMS, variable message signs, on the roadways in Chesapeake. Those are signs that motorists see usually on highways and along major roads that share information about traffic delays, road closures, generally things happening on the roadways to give motorists advance warning of what they can expect ahead of them. Some of the major incidents in the past year that we needed to use those signs for, major incidents like the Centerville Turnpike Bridge closure, for example. We had information about that closure on the message board signs along the major thoroughfares in Chesapeake so that motorists knew that the bridge was closed and that they were to take a detour. Using some of those messages that you'll see on those signs, there's a little bit of humor that goes into the messages, so it's not simply just dry information. And we do that because we want folks to be able to take advantage of the signs. If they're out there for a reason, they're a great resource for drivers that are motoring through town to understand some of the things that are happening on the roadways so they know ahead of time before they get there to make their commute a little bit safer and a little bit easier.
And before we go, there is still time to enjoy and learn throughout Black History Month, particularly with programs offered by Chesapeake Public Libraries and the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department. And the Great Bridge Battlefield and Waterways History Foundation has one more event left in their Black History Month virtual series with Sheila Arnold. Now this one is called Stories of the Dismal Swamp. So the Dismal Swamp, you may or may not know, was actually an important stop on the Underground Railroad, and it became a safe haven for many enslaved people who ran away. So learn more about how the Dismal Swamp is part of this nation's history, Black history. You'll learn more about that at this virtual talk that takes place on Sunday, February 28th from 2 to 3:30. It is free, but you do have to register, and you can do that at gbbattlefield.org. Well, that does it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Everyone stay healthy, and I'll see you right back here again next week.
The Chesapeake Fire Department is teaming up with the National Fire Protection Association to promote this year's Fire Prevention Week campaign, Cook Up Fire Safety in the Kitchen. This year's campaign aims to educate everyone on simple but important steps that they can take to protect themselves and those around them. According to the NFPA, cooking is the #1 cause of home fires and home fire injuries in the United States. Almost half of those reported start in the kitchen. 2/3 of cooking fires begin with the ignition of food or other cooking materials. Cooking fires can quickly grow, and I've seen many homes damaged and people injured from fires that were easily preventable. Here are a few tips to keep you safe in the kitchen. Never leave cooking food unattended. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling. If you have to leave, even for a short time, turn off the stove. If you're simmering, baking, roasting, or boiling food, check it regularly. Remain in the home while food is cooking, and use a timer to remind you that you're cooking. You have to be alert when cooking. You won't be alert if you're sleepy, have taken medicine or drugs, or consumed alcohol that makes you drowsy. Always keep an oven mitt and pan lid nearby. If a small grease fire starts, slide the lid over the pan to smother the flame. Turn off the burner and leave the pan covered until it's completely cool. Last of all, have a kid-free zone of at least 3 feet around the stove and areas where hot food or drinks are prepared or carried. It is our hope that you will embrace this tasty advice and serve up fire safety in the kitchen.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic. Now is the moment.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.